My name is Tate. I am 67 years old. I've buried a wife, built businesses with bleeding hands, and survived years of silent sacrifice. But nothing prepared me for being dismissed at a Thanksgiving table like I was a man who had wasted his life. But that night, I didn't argue. I opened a gate instead. And everything changed. A father who worked in silence. I wasn't born into money. I was born into grit. My father worked in a factory. My mother cleaned houses. We didn't have much, but we had dignity. I learned early that a man's value isn't in the shine of his shoes, it's in the calluses on his hands. When my son Daniel was born, I promised myself one thing. He would never know what it felt like to go without. So I worked. And worked. And worked. Construction, roofing, repairs, property flips, long nights, frozen winters, burning summers. While other fathers watched television, I studied real estate markets. While others slept, I drafted renovation plans at the kitchen table beside my wife. When she passed away 15 years ago, something inside me broke. But something else hardened. I turned grief into discipline. And discipline into wealth. Quiet wealth. The kind that doesn't announce itself. The distance. Daniel grew up smart, ambitious, driven. I was proud of him. He moved to the city, climbed the corporate ladder, married Vanessa, a woman who valued presentation the way some people value prayer. She wasn't cruel at first, just observant and calculating. Every time she looked at my old pickup truck, I could see the silent judgment. Every time she asked, still doing repair work, I heard the unspoken translation. Still small. I never corrected her. Because I didn't need to. Or so I thought. Thanksgiving, the breaking point. Their home was spotless, white marble counters, abstract art, wine glasses that probably cost more than my first toolbox. Vanessa greeted me with a tight smile. "You found the place," she said. Found the place. As if I needed directions in life. Dinner was elegant, controlled, almost staged. Her parents talked investments, European travel, luxury markets. When her father asked what I'd been doing lately, I answered honestly. Managing some properties. Vanessa chuckled. "Oh, that sounds official," she said. "Dad still likes to say things like that." Something in the tone shifted. Then it happened. She leaned back in her chair, swirling her wine, and said, "It must have been hard for Daniel, growing up watching his father never really become anything." The room froze. My son stared at his plate. And then she said it. "Well, at least he broke the cycle. Nobody wants to end up a loser." I heard my heart beat. But I didn't feel anger. I felt disappointment. Not in her. In my son. Because silence can be louder than insults. The invitation. I folded my napkin carefully. "Vanessa," I said calmly, "would you all join me for a short drive?" Her parents looked amused. Daniel looked confused. Vanessa smirked slightly. "Sure, this should be interesting." Yes, it would be. The gates. We drove out of the city. Past suburbs. Past country roads. Until we reached a long private drive lined with oak trees wrapped in golden lights. Their car slowed. When we stopped in front of iron gates taller than any structure nearby, Daniel's voice cracked slightly. "Dad, where are we?" I pressed the remote. The gates opened slowly. The estate revealed itself like a quiet king stepping into light. 3 stories of stone and glass. Wraparound balcony. Fountain glowing under evening lights. Land stretching beyond sight. Vanessa's father whispered, "Good Lord." We stepped out. Vanessa looked at me. "You're working here." I met her eyes steadily. No. I let the word settle. I own it. Jacques. Inside, the silence was heavier than before. Chandeliers shimmered overhead, fireplaces glowed, floor-to-ceiling windows revealed the valley below. Daniel turned slowly in place. You built this? Yes. How? The same way I built everything, I said, slowly. I explained. The first rental property when Daniel was 10. Fixing it at night. Buying another. Reinvesting profits. Purchasing land when no one wanted it. Holding it when everyone else sold. 15 residential properties. Commercial spaces. Investments. This estate sitting on 40 acres, bought decades ago for almost nothing. Vanessa's voice was barely audible. But you never said anything. I never needed to. The real confrontation. We stood in the grand living room. Fire crackling. Tension rising. I turned to Vanessa. You called me a loser. She swallowed. I was wrong. Yes, I replied gently, but not because I'm wealthy. That made her look up. You were wrong because you measured worth by appearance. Her father shifted uncomfortably. I continued. If I truly had nothing but that old truck and my tools, I would still deserve respect. Daniel's eyes filled with regret. I should have said something, he whispered. Yes, I said quietly. You should have. What hurt most? It wasn't her insult. It was my son's silence. I walked toward the window overlooking the land. I didn't build this house to impress anyone, I said. I built it for family, for future grandchildren, for Thanksgiving dinners. My voice softened. But wealth without respect feels empty. Daniel stepped forward and hugged me. Something he hadn't done in years. I'm proud of you, Dad. That was the only thing I ever wanted. A different kind of wealth. Vanessa eventually spoke again. I grew up thinking success had to look loud, expensive, obvious. And now, I asked. Now I realize I've been blind. Her apology felt real this time. Not because of the mansion, but because she understood the lesson. Humility can look like weakness. Silence can look like failure. Simplicity can look like lack. But appearances lie. Character does not. 1 year later, the next Thanksgiving, we hosted dinner at the estate. But something was different. Vanessa arrived early to help cook. Daniel walked beside me across the property that morning. I used to think success meant being better than everyone, he admitted. And now I think it means being strong enough not to prove anything. I smiled. That lesson was worth more than every acre I owned. Final words from a 67-year-old man. At 67, here's what I know. Never rush to prove yourself to people who don't understand your journey. True strength doesn't shout. It builds quietly. And sometimes, the richest person in the room is the one no one notices. That Thanksgiving, I didn't show my mansion to win. I showed it to teach. And the lesson was simple. Wealth can open gates, but character opens hearts. Moral of the story: never judge a person by what they display. Real wealth isn't loud. It isn't flashy. And it certainly isn't measured by the car someone drives. True wealth is humility. True wealth is patience. True wealth is dignity. And those who underestimate quiet people often discover, too late, that silence was strength all along.